Hey, welcome back. If you're going through a divorce or a separation or some other critical time in your life, it's really important to stop and take stock of where you are. And that's the purpose of today's video. I'm going to distill down some of the key assessment tools of some of the great teachers and provide you with some very simple, very basic assessment tools that you can use so that you can plan a much better future with the goal setting video I'll put together in the future. So if you've got a couple of minutes to give me, stick around, it'll be worth your while. Self-assessment is an extremely important part of moving forward from any kind of crisis or situation you may be stuck in. So what I'd like to do today is give you a condensed and summarized version of some of the self-assessment tools of the greats. And I'm talking people like Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, and others that are too numerous to mention. Tony Robbins, who's one of the great personal development teachers of our time, is famous for making instant changes in people and challenging them with very simple but very, very to the point questions. So one of the things he often says to people is, tell me 3 things that if you changed right now would have an enormous impact on your future. And invariably he says people will tell him they want to change something to do about money, they want to change something to do with their health, and they want to change something to do with their relationships. So you could look at those 3 categories and bring up any number of things that would be worthwhile changing. That might be a little bit complicated for most people, or it might involve a lot of thinking and a lot of mulling over one thing versus another. Another teacher that's long had an impact on people's lives has been Zig Ziglar. And Zig is famous for his Wheel of Life diagram, in which he has about 7 or 8 categories where you would shade from 1 till 10 where your life is at this moment in time. And that would give you a rough examination of which areas need work on. If there's an area that's flat, it suggests that it's an area that you need to focus on. Zig has said on a number of occasions that those flat areas are like a flat tire on a car. And the faster you try and drive that car, the more noise it tends to make, boom, 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 and derails the entire vehicle. So it's his way of getting people to focus on their weaknesses or areas that they could build up more importantly. Another more contemporary version is the one compiled by Vishen Lakhiani, in which he has 12 categories, all pertaining to different areas of your life that you would indicate from 1 to 10 where you lie in the scheme of things and what might use improvement. What I've done is try to combine some of those approaches, and I've made my own type of pie chart or wheel of life where I've had 12 categories based loosely on the work of all of these teachers, and I've uploaded it onto the Triarius Project website for you to download and use for yourself. Of course, you could make your own with as many categories as you wanted, but I think you'll find my one quite useful. So please do visit the website and avail yourself of that. I promise you don't have to pay anything for it or subscribe or join some kind of email group. Feel free to use it. You're at a point in your life where you don't need all the fluff and smoke and mirrors of joining some group or paying money. You need to get your life changed now, and I'm giving you some tools to get going ASAP. So please do visit the website and avail yourself of those resources. So let's have a little bit of a look at some of those categories that I've put down for you, because I think it's worth contemplating them a little bit before you shade those areas. The first one I've listed is environment and personal presentation. Now, what do I mean by environment and personal presentation? What does your house look like? What shape is it in? Is it tidy? Is it well maintained? Do you surround yourself with beautiful things? Things that inspire you, motivate you to do better? What's your personal presentation like? Is the way you dress a reflection of what you want for yourself? All these things are both internal and external environments, and they're an outward demonstration of where you really want to be. And I think it's really important to start looking at it. The second category I've got on my wheel of self-assessment is travel and adventure. You know, when's the last time you took a holiday? When's the last time you got an adrenaline rush from fun and excitement as opposed to stress and dread? How many places have you been to? What sort of places do you want to travel to? And what have you put off your bucket list thinking that you're never going to get around to it, or that you perhaps can't afford? These are the things that are going to motivate you to get excited about life and make some positive changes for the future. So it's really important to take a look at this category and shade where you are from 0 to 10. 0 being unacceptable and 10 being totally acceptable in the way that you want to live your life. The third category is also a personal fulfillment category, and it's the one of creative expression. This is one not many people think about, but I think it's another important category that will help you feel motivated about your life, and one that will allow you to express yourself in the most creative way. You know, do you play a musical instrument? If you do, how much have you played lately? Do you draw? Do you paint? Do you have any other sort of craft way of expressing yourself? I think that using the right side of your brain in creative expression doesn't just give you an outlet for stress, but it also helps you tap into your subconscious in an aspect that you don't necessarily use every day, that may help you solve problems that your left brain isn't doing for you right now. So definitely an important part of your personal fulfillment to consider. The fourth part of the personal fulfillment category is the contemplative life. Now, it's not that long ago that most of us would have worked in a field all day long. We would have spent long hours walking to and from a place of employment, and that would have given us a lot of time to think about our lives, where we've come from, where we're headed, to think about what values we hold, what our principles are, the people that are important to us. It would give us time to think about our faith. It's an area that most of us don't spend anywhere near enough time concentrating on, because we're so inundated and saturated with information and busyness that we rarely get the time to take out and just think. Not just think, but think and meditate. Think and reflect. Think and plan for the future. So it's an area that most people probably score very poorly in, and one that I'd encourage you to think about quite regularly. The next category is one that I would call skills and survival, and it involves things like your career and the skill set and the qualifications that you've accumulated over the course of your life. Are you a master? Are you at the top of your trade? Are you well respected? How do you feel about where you are, and how do you feel about your career? Some people are very, very highly qualified, but unhappy with their income level, unhappy with what they're doing, wishing they were somewhere else, doing something else. I often say it's better to be an excited apprentice than a jaded master. Another important category in this area is income, savings, and investments. Some people make a reasonable amount of money, but they spend everything. They don't put anywhere near enough time and planning into saving for the future, or saving for retirement or old age. If you were to lose your job or get sick, could you survive in your current lifestyle for 6 months? Or would you be in a really, really difficult place? This is something that does also require a lot of reflection, and knowing where you stand in this area will help you plan better for the future. Another area that people don't often think about is life skills. For example, can you change a car tire? Could you climb on the roof and change tiles if they were broken or damaged? Even just general household maintenance. Are you good with your hands? Can you cook? Can you wash and iron, clean shirts for yourself. If you were dropped into the middle of a forest, could you survive for a week just on your wits? Could you find food, light a fire, build a shelter? These may not seem terribly important skills in our modern world, but as the coronavirus has very quickly shown us, our world can unravel very, very quickly if we don't have some basic life skills. But even if we were to put it into a little bit more modern terms, if your computer broke down, could you get it going again? If it froze up, would you have to call a technician, or could you search up a way of rebooting and restarting it on your own? If your internet went down, could you deal with it, or would you need to make phone calls and wait for someone else to bail you out? These are all important things that you need to be able to do as an individual, and they'd give you a lot more personal confidence in moving forward. The next broader category is body and health. And I think the first thing to consider here is your general physical shape, your condition, and your health for your age. When you look in the mirror, are you happy with what you're seeing? Would other people be impressed by what they saw? If not, why not? Do you play any sport? Do you participate in any other physical activities to stay in shape? Another category would be diet and nutrition. How much do you know about good health? Do you eat whatever you want, whenever you want, regardless of the consequences? Or do you pay some attention to nutrition, to vitamins, to avoiding excessive processed food, trying to cook and eat from home as much as possible rather than eating takeaway or eating in restaurants? Are you aware of the effects of processed food on your health, and how much effort do you put into trying to avoid it? The final broader category I want to explore is your relationship category. And first among these is your family, kids, and friendships section. Do you spend much time contacting your friends, or do you expect them to call you all the time? How much effort do you put into spending with your children, looking into their quality of life and being the best parent that you can possibly be? What about your parents? Do you make time to see your mum and dad? It's well known that mothers especially love to brag about how much time they spend with their kids, and so try to think about, are you as good a child to your parents as you are a parent to your own children? How about your love life? Are you involved in a romantic relationship? Are you a player, or are you a loner? Are you happy with the circumstances in which you're in currently? And if not, what do you need to do to change that? Do you get enough sex? If so, is it good quality? Are you a generous and skillful lover? If not, why not? The final section I wanted to have a look at is community involvement. No man is an island, and part of what makes us healthy is our involvement with our communities. So what I'd like you to do is think about how much involvement you have in your community. Do you volunteer for anything? Or are you isolated in your own little world? Are there skills or services that you could contribute to any kind of organisation that might be able to use your help? Maybe a charity, or maybe some kind of service association, maybe a fraternal organisation, or a church or other religious group. By being involved with the welfare of other people, you raise up your own self-esteem and you raise your own standing in your community. So whether you're looking at a little bit more of a complex 10 or 12 category assessment, or whether you go back to the Tony Robbins 3 things assessment, I think it's quite handy to have a look at where you are now and take stock, so that you can make some appropriate changes and set some better goals, which I'll go through in the next video. Well, there you have it. I hope it's useful for you. Please do go onto the website and download that assessment tool, and let me know how you go. Which area of those categories are you weakest in? Let's see what everyone else tells us, and see if there are any patterns that seem to emerge here, particularly in divorced or separated dads. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. Please do leave your comments below. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and remember to walk tall. Cheers.